Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing first, in the red corner, Sir William Shakespeare. Shakespeare!
Maya, and I'm an Anglophone. I live in the West Island, which is where the majority of Anglophones in Quebec live.
Je suis anglophone québécois, how do you do? Désolé pour mon accent, but what can I do? J'adore chanter dans cette langue qui est si belle. Mais pour conjuguer, j'ai besoin de mon bécherel. It's hard, c'est dur, à être pris en deux cultures.
Jean-Baptiste Pauquelin dit Molière! Molière!
So, I'm Matt, I'm French, and I'm from the South Shore. I'm from a community that's mostly French. There's like 95% people that are French in Boucherville, which is where I'm from.
Je sais, les si aime pas les raies. J'ai de la misère avec cette langue très compliquée.
Martin Ward. David Butchard. Enchanté. Enchanté. Hey, on est tombé sur un gars qui peut parler le française.
I remember that when I was in high school, all the French people would sort of like group in together because we'd sort of like stay together because we were the only French people, and all the English people would stay together too because that's the way it was. There was also like a French school that was right next to our English school, and we'd sort of always get into fights together.
Hi, my name is Natasha. French is my third language now. I lived here and then I moved away to South America and Mexico, so I spoke Spanish. And then when I moved back, I had to learn French again. It was pretty difficult, having Spanish as such a similar language and then French. I got them mixed up a lot. Most kids were pretty understanding and helpful, but sometimes kids can be mean, and I think it was more the French speaking students in the class who weren't as understanding. Like sometimes I would mix words up with Spanish and French, and they'd be the same word, but they'd mean something different in French than they did in Spanish.
I ended up going to a French school. I probably would have done it in a different way because it probably wasn't the best school. That school probably didn't cater the best to my needs being an English student going to a French school. But in retrospect, it's good that it happened.
Okay. What's the best thing that came out of it? Learning French, or is there other good stuff too?
Well, obviously learning the language was probably the primary gain, except also just getting a different feel of culture in Quebec, because there's a big separation between Anglophones and Francophones, and through going to French school I managed to get a pretty good sense of both, and I now have a lot of obviously Francophone friends that I probably wouldn't have met, or not as many at least, had I gone to English school.
But teachers still try to get us to integrate into the culture, immerse us into French television, French media. We had to watch shows like Découverte or like an improv kind of French comedy. And it was kind of hard to catch on. I either found it boring or I couldn't understand jokes in French. So I really felt like a disconnect with French culture. And I feel like the division between Francophones and Anglophones in Montreal, where language isn't the only barrier, it isn't the only division, though it is a defining factor, but it's the culture which is extremely different. I find that French Canadians do have a very particular identity, and they identify with being French Canadians.
It's hard, c'est dur, à être en deux cultures.
I've been going to an English school my entire life, and so I sort of feel like an outcast in my community because no one's French, no one's English, and I'm the only one who is. So all my French friends think that I'm an English, and all my English friends think that I'm French. So it's sort of hard to find like an identity.
Mademoiselle, puis-je aller aux toilettes?
Est-ce que je peux aller à mon casier, s'il vous plaît?
Monsieur, puis-je peux utiliser ton stylo pour mon travail?
Et peut-être je peux implanter votre règle. Je suis tueur. J'aime le dîner. Pour souper, ils ont, ils est, ils est. Nous avons, vous avez, ils sont, ils sont. Je suis un garçon avec 2 demi-frères.
Please follow